War has a strange way of turning ordinary people into unexpected heroes, and sometimes, the smallest, strangest ideas can change the course of history. During World War II, while generals drew up grand strategies and scientists developed powerful weapons, a humble American farmer stumbled onto a discovery that would quietly save thousands of lives. His stupid trick with honey, ridiculed at first, ended up giving Allied soldiers an unexpected edge across Europe, the Pacific, and beyond. In 1942, deep in the heart of Iowa, lived Harold Hal Weston, a third-generation beekeeper and corn farmer. He wasn't a soldier, a scientist, or a politician. He didn't even own a radio at first. But when his oldest son enlisted in the army, Hal wanted to help in any way he could. "If my boy's gonna fight, I'll fight my way here," he told neighbors at the local diner. One day, Hal noticed something strange. While tending to his hives during a humid summer, he realized that beeswax and honey, when mixed with certain types of soil, created a thin but sturdy, waterproof layer, one that resisted mold, bugs, and even mild heat. It was sticky, yes, but surprisingly durable. When local soldiers came home on leave, Hal would often send them jars of his healing honey, claiming it could treat small burns, infections, and wounds. They laughed. Farmer Hal's miracle honey became a running joke. But within months, word began spreading through the small-town mail routes. It worked. By late 1943, Hal's honey concoction had caught the attention of an Army medic from Des Moines, Lieutenant Robert Clemens. He wrote a report to the U.S. Army Medical Corps suggesting that the mixture, part honey, part beeswax, part soil minerals, might be useful in the field to protect wounds from infection, especially in tropical environments where conventional bandages often failed. The response from Washington was predictable. This is a farmer's folk remedy, not a military asset. But Clemens didn't drop it. He smuggled a few jars of the honey compound into his unit's supplies before being deployed to the Pacific. There, during the Battle of Bougainville in late 1943, his field hospital ran short on medical disinfectants. Desperate, he applied the honey paste to wounded soldiers. To everyone's surprise, infection rates dropped dramatically. Word spread fast among medics. The sticky, golden mixture formed a natural seal over wounds, kept out dirt and insects, and promoted healing. It was sweet, cheap, and effective. Soon, troops began calling it bee salve, or Iowa glue. Unbeknownst to Harold Weston, his stupid trick had deep biological logic. Honey is naturally antibacterial due to its low water content and high acidity. It contains hydrogen peroxide and a range of natural enzymes that prevent bacteria from growing. The beeswax added a water-resistant barrier, while the soil minerals, especially clay-based compounds, helped keep it firm and breathable. In modern medical science, this combination is now known as a bio-occlusive healing agent, something that locks moisture in while keeping microbes out. But in 1943, this was groundbreaking. Soldiers with infected wounds often died from sepsis before even reaching a hospital ship. Weston's mixture changed that equation. By early 1944, the U.S. Army quietly began testing natural wound protectants in medical labs. When they confirmed the astonishing results, the Quartermaster Corps approved limited production, under the bland label, compound number 47B. Hal Weston, however, didn't even know. He continued working his fields, unaware that thousands of jars of his honey-based formula were being produced in secret labs and shipped to Europe under military contracts. It was used in Normandy, in Italy, and later, across the Pacific Islands. Soldiers would often smear the sticky compound on minor cuts, burns, or insect bites. Some used it to keep their boots from cracking. Others used it on rifle stocks to protect wood from moisture. The stuff became a legend. A miracle paste, from the farms of America. It wasn't until 1946, after the war ended, that the Army officially acknowledged Hal Weston's contribution. A letter arrived in his mailbox bearing the War Department seal. It thanked him for his patriotic innovation and contribution to the well-being of U.S. Armed Forces personnel. Enclosed was a modest check and an American flag that had flown over a field hospital in the Philippines. Hal didn't boast. He hung the flag in his barn, smiled, and said, "Guess my bees did their part, too." After World War II, scientists revisited Weston's honey beeswax formula. It inspired early versions of medical-grade honey dressings used in hospitals during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. Even today, modern, Manuka honey, bandages and antibacterial ointments trace part of their lineage to Hal's accidental discovery. What's more, his story became a quiet symbol of American ingenuity, proof that victory doesn't just come from factories and generals, but from farms, workshops, and ordinary minds willing to try stupid ideas. Hal Weston's honey trick wasn't magic. It was a perfect mix of curiosity, persistence, and love for the soldiers fighting far from home. He didn't wait for orders or credentials. He saw a problem and used what he had. In wartime, that kind of thinking was rare and powerful. Because wars are often won not just by strategy, but by every drop of his honey reminded soldiers of home, of the farms and fields they were fighting for. It gave them not just healing, but morale, a sense that even in the chaos of war, something pure and sweet could still exist. Today, few history books mention Hal Weston. His farm went back to growing corn and clover after the war, and his beehives still buzzed long after the last soldiers came home. Yet in countless ways, his stupid trick with honey lives on. In every medic's kit, every bandage infused with natural healing agents, every innovation born from necessity. And maybe that's the most American thing about it. A farmer, mocked for his odd obsession with bees and honey, ended up helping millions, proving once again that sometimes, the simplest things can win the biggest wars. The story of Hal Weston reminds us that history isn't made only by the powerful. It's made by people who notice small things, a reaction between soil and honey, the way bees protect their own, and turn them into something that saves lives. So the next time someone laughs at a stupid idea, remember, a farmer's jar of honey once healed the wounds of an army, and helped tip the scales of a world at war.